All right, Tim Beck. I have two girls, 8 and 11, and I feel I'm too protective and fearful at times and don't let them experience failure or be as adventurous as I should let them be. How do you balance father's instinct to protect while at the same time allowing them the opportunity to grow and experience failure or pain?
Again, what's your motive? What's your goal? My job, and I've said this for years, is to render myself obsolete.
Yeah.
So if I hover and I overprotect and I coddle and I don't let them experience hardship or failure or setbacks or uncomfortable situations, then I'm actually not doing my job. It's the antithesis of my job. They're going to be more reliant upon me, more dependent on me. And then when they get into the real world and things go south, they won't know how to handle themselves because dad always protected them from that. So I think what you've got to do is and look, I get it with daughters. I think he said an 8 and 11-year-old daughter. Yeah. I think naturally, I feel this way about my daughter. I'm significantly more protective of my daughter than my sons. Significantly more. Would you agree with that?
No, I'm the same way.
I think all guys are probably like that, which is kind of, I just think, innately hardwired into us. We're protectors, right? We protect the women. So I think it's natural, but I really believe that what you need to do is you just need to evaluate and consider what is your job. And when you think about these things before you get into the heat of the moment or you get upset or you want to be protective or you see something that's scary or uncomfortable for them, if you have the underlying principle already established, then you're more likely to make decisions based on what that principle is. But if you're just winging it, man, it's just not going to work. I was talking with Dave Burke years ago, and I think about this he's a Top Gun fighter pilot, right? And I think about it in the context of that. There's situations and things he can do with a plane because he knows the fundamentals. You can't just jump ahead. You can't just jump from A to Z. You've got to know all of the fundamentals and have those things in place, and that way you can be more creative when you find yourself in a situation that you have to deal with. But you have to know the foundations, the fundamentals. This is why in the book, Sovereignty, The Battle for the Hearts and Minds of Men, I talk about your code of conduct. It's the operating system by which you will operate and work before you get into this heat of the moment. This is the same reason guys will say when they cheat on their wives, oh man, I just lost myself, or I just got caught up in the moment. Right, because you didn't establish your rules before the situation happened. Because if one of your rules was that you don't spend time alone with other women, for example, you wouldn't even got yourself into that situation.
Yep.
So you need to establish your rules. And it's the same thing with your kids. If your rule or your job at its most fundamental level is to render yourself obsolete, then you can measure all of your actions against this and ask yourself, is what I'm doing right now allowing them to be fully self-sufficient, contributing members of society, or is it hindering it? And then you measure it back against your rule and then take the correct course of action from there.